Welcome to my channel. So today I ask, why are we still talking about Cleopatra over 2000 years after her death? Is it her legendary beauty, her love affairs with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony, or the mystery of her lost home? Or is there something deeper? No, Cleopatra isn't just a historical figure. She's a myth, a symbol, and a story retold for centuries. The Romans themselves were obsessed with her. Writers like Cicero portrayed her as dangerous, seductive, and foreign. To them, she represented the mysterious East, wealthy, exotic, and threatening. The image stuck. Over time, Cleopatra became less of a real ruler and more of a legend. The ultimate femme fatale, the exotic queen, the tragic lover. But how much of that is actually true? Cleopatra was born in 69 BC, the daughter of Ptolemy the 12th. When he died in 51 BC, she became queen, co ruling with her younger brother Ptolemy the 13th. That arrangement didn't last long. A power struggle erupted into civil war. Then came Rome. After losing the Battle of Pharsalus, Pompey fled to Egypt, only to be assassinated. Now, when Caesar arrived, Cleopatra famously aligned herself with him. Their alliance and romance restored her to power. Later, after Caesar's assassination, Cleopatra formed another powerful alliance with Mark Antony. Together, they ruled vast territories and had three children. But Rome turned against them. At the Battle of Actium, their forces were defeated by Octavian. Facing capture, both Antony and Cleopatra took their own lives in 30 BC. And just like that, the last pharaoh of Egypt was gone. Shakespeare famously stated of her in one of his plays that age cannot wither her, nor custom stale her infinite variety. Other women cloy the appetites they feed, but she makes hungry where most she satisfies. For vilest things become themselves in her. Plutarch stated her beauty was not in itself so remarkable that none could be compared with her, or that no one could see her without being struck by it. It was a contact of her presence. If you lived with her, that was irresistible. So, in modern terminology, she had immense risk. Now, Cleopatra wasn't just a romantic figure. She was one of the most capable rulers of her time. She was highly educated, reportedly speaking multiple languages, a rare skill among her dynasty. She ruled Egypt independently, commanding armies, managing an economy, and negotiating with the most powerful men in Rome. Antony reportedly was reliant on Cleopatra for both funding and military aid during his invasions of the Parthian Empire and Kingdom of Armenia. She also balanced two worlds: the Greek elite, who saw her as one of them, and the Egyptian people, who worshipped her as a living goddess. Her reign was remarkably stable. In fact, Egypt saw fewer revolts under her than it had in generations. Even her rivalry with her sister Arsinoe IV shows how intense and dangerous royal politics were, and how effectively Cleopatra navigated them. Because she exists at the intersection of so many powerful ideas: love and power, politics and seduction, history and myth. Her story has everything: war, romance, betrayal, ambition, and tragedy. But most importantly, Cleopatra challenges expectations. Maybe our obsession with Cleopatra says less about her and more about us. To a Roman like Cicero, Cleopatra was thrice suspect. First, she came from a culture Romans dismissed as indulgent and excessive, a symbol of the exotic East. Second, she ruled from Alexandria, a city they saw as decadent and foreign. And third, her immense wealth made her both fascinating and threatening. We've turned her into a symbol, sometimes unfairly, of beauty and seduction. But strip away the myths, and what remains is something far more powerful: a strategist, a ruler, a woman who held her own against Rome. And perhaps above all, Cleopatra endures because she reminds us what happens when a woman dares to take power in a world that fears it. A blend of the erotic and the dangerous. A woman whose power had to be explained or undermined. The Romans couldn't separate her political intelligence from her femininity, so they reduced her to seduction. And that version of Cleopatra survived. Recently, debates about Cleopatra's identity have exploded again. And this time it's because of a Netflix docudrama, Queen Cleopatra, starring Adele James, a black British actor. Now, Cleopatra has been claimed by many different identities over time: Macedonian, Greek, Egyptian, and even African. But here's the thing, a lot of these arguments aren't just about history, they're about modern identity and politics. In Egypt, the reaction has been especially intense. One lawyer was so outraged by the portrayal that he actually filed a lawsuit against Netflix. At the same time, others are using this movement to talk about something deeper: racism and colorism within modern society, which is often overlooked. So, this isn't just about a historical figure anymore, it's about who gets to tell history and how the past is used to shape identity today. On her death, Horace, to valorize her rival, stated, "She, seeking a nobler death, did not flinch at the sword like a woman, and sought no hidden shores with her swift fleet to regroup. She dared endure the sight of her realm in ruins, her face serenely calm, and had the strength to handle stinging serpents to absorb their black venom into her body. Fiercer as she resolved to die, no wonder she begrudged the fierce Liburnian sailors, and was no woman to be deposed and humbly led in splendid triumph." Thank you so much. Please like, share, and subscribe.